This is TV Black Box, bringing you the inside goss from the TV industry.
Hi there, welcome to the TV Black Box one-on-one podcast. I'm Nicole Gunn. Joining us are award-winning designer Rosie Morley and landscape artist Paddy Milne, hosts of the Binge original lifestyle series Selling in the City. The first 3 episodes of this uniquely Australian show dropped today on Binge, with new episodes weekly. Rosie and Paddy, congratulations. I watched it this morning and I didn't quite know what to expect. I thought, oh, here we go, another lifestyle TV show. What are we going to get? I shouldn't say surprisingly, but surprisingly, it was really engaging. It was really lovely.
I think we've been pleasantly surprised as well because it's our first time doing this, so we didn't really know what was going to come out of the machine either.
You guys said that this is your first foray into TV?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Really, because you wouldn't know the chemistry. I mean, we often talk about building chemistry, but it doesn't seem that you've had to work hard at that relationship at all.
No.
Yeah, that's been one of the beauties of it. Working with Rosie, we clicked straight away and just got straight to work.
Yeah, I think we just had, common ground from the beginning. We grew up not far from each other, and, when you just eyeball another animal and you're like, yeah, this is all right.
Yeah. She's in my tribe.
Yeah, exactly.
In it together, we'll survive this together.
Yeah.
But I know, because we often think about, how do people get these jobs? And you don't come up through the TV network and you haven't had the 15 years of TV background. I think it was social media. Am I right that you guys got discovered?
Mine was more through Landscaping Victoria, and then Rosie was LinkedIn.
So no, it wasn't through. I guess technically LinkedIn is a social platform, but it's a professional one, and I use it for my work. So yeah, I was contacted on LinkedIn.
What a bizarre was it? Hey, we're not dodgy. Would you be interested in?
That's the problem.
Did you get those messages?
I thought it was dodgy. I let it slide. I'm sorry. I feel like a broken record. But yeah, I thought I let it slide and then sent it to my brother who's in the industry, and he said, "Yeah, that's legit. You should check that out." I'm like, okay. And then before I knew it, I was walking through a property with Paddy, acting like we were redesigning it together.
Yeah.
Paddy, how did you get this job? And how did you get involved with Rosie? How did that all come about for you?
It started for me just a little bit before Rosie in February last year. Foxtel called me out of the blue. It was a phone call one day, Zoom call the next morning, and then within a few days I was filming in Sydney. And at the time it was for Selling Houses. Yep. And then I got a call back saying we've got this brand new show called Selling in the City and we think you might be suitable as the host. So I went back to Sydney, another day's filming with interior designers. It was not until the second day of filming with interior designers, so there was quite a few. And we're hearing the story now later on from the producers that they stood back and within a few minutes it was just like, this is it, we've found it.
Pair.
Yeah, the search is over.
You wouldn't know watching it, and I know you've probably heard it 1,000 times, but you wouldn't know watching it that you've come together relatively soon, and not that long ago, and you've got that connection straight away.
Yeah.
What is it about shows like this which is different in itself? It's a brand new one. We haven't seen this format before. We certainly haven't seen it to how you go diving into a suburb. Why is it, do you think, that people are keyed into these things? Is it post-COVID? No, we've had 2.5 years of lockdown at home and we look around and go, could do something different here? Or what do you think it is with checking out what other people are doing?
Yeah, I think that COVID has played a big part of it. People spending so much time at home now. And I know with my business that most of my clients now are talking about building a sanctuary within their own home because they're spending so much more time at home now and travel is so much harder. So I think the timing of our show is really good for that as well, to really shed some light on people's homes and come at it from a different angle and come up with ideas that they would never have thought of.
Yeah, but I often think that, this was an obsession long before COVID. People have always loved lifestyle programs and that voyeuristic nature of watching a transformation take place. And, I was thinking about it, I think, why do people just get hooked into this stuff? And must be just about that promise of something better. You know, we're all looking through our lives
Yeah,
for
that's true.
improvement. And when you see it demonstrated to you in a nice, neat packaged bow, there's something highly satisfying about watching that. And because we're coming at it from a very accessible level with small homes, tight budgets, tight constraints, you know, there's some element of reality and people can almost position themselves into it. Well, that's what I would hope people can see, and you know, they can almost see themselves in that position as opposed to something that's large scale and, you know, intense.
I suppose it's also, unless you're going into the other shows that are big, you can be overwhelmed. But at least when you're watching, go, oh, I hadn't thought of doing something like that. Or even shifting a wall and get more light into a room, that's a different aspect. And it's things that we can do at home without having to spend squillions of dollars getting it done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's about making strategic design decisions, and I think that's the lesson in it. Really, is that we're not ripping everything apart and starting again. We're focusing on some key elements and doing them to the best of our ability.
Have you found it interesting having to go, okay, I know, Rosie, you've dealt with budgets that are massive in the projects you've worked on of millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, going to, and yourself as well, Patty, where you're now going into, okay, I have got a set limit, we can't go crazy, I have to make it work. Has that been a shift in the way you approach a job?
Yeah, the budget is one thing, but for me, in designing a space that we're essentially building in 3 days has possibly been the most challenging part. And so in my work, we're sort of doing work over many, many months rather than just 3 days. So that is, to me, something that has been a real change in how I think about design for this show.
And the process, I think, because the projects I work on in my professional practice are years in gestation, they're drawn within an inch of their lives, every detail is specified, there is a cast of thousands working on these designs, and then they're implemented and value managed and go through every single, there could be up to 20 consultants, 40 consultants I've had on one job before, and to this short-circuited version of design. So I've struggled with that, I have to say, like designing something without drawing everything and then trusting that the builder gets it. There's just this leap of faith every time. I'm like, okay.
and that the client is also going to get it as well. And because it's a different thing, is when you're designing for an industry versus designing for average Joe. It's a different mind space.
Yeah, that's a huge challenge because we have to constantly tread that line between broad appeal, like it's going out to the market, anyone can buy it, but we're being asked, you really need to come up with something that is bold, high impact, dynamic, is something that no one has seen before, or introducing new ideas. So I think the innovation piece excites me, but you've got to pull it back a bit as well. So it's, where do you go absolutely bonkers and just live it with conviction, and then maybe temper it with some more neutral insertions, if that makes sense. It's a really hard one to, you know, you want something to be strong. Yeah,
It's the balance, isn't it?
absolutely.
Patty, when you talked about people designing for sanctuaries and how, you know, you're finding that they want, your clients are saying, we want to create something. Are you seeing that more and more, that people go, okay, I've had 2.5 years locked in my own space, I need something and I want to connect with the outside world? Is that, I know you hate the word trend, but is that a trend that you're seeing more people doing? And watching the show, can they get some ideas of how to create that personal space for themselves?
Yeah, and that's becoming more and more common for me in my world, that my clients are spending so much time at home now, whether they're a couple or no kids or a whole family, then travelling is not as easy as it once was. So the importance of getting your home space right is so critical at the moment. So we're really trying to design in a way that everything the family wants and needs is within their home, but when they get home, it's everything's so fast paced in our lives that when they get home, that they feel like that they are in their own little oasis. And I think that's really important, and more than ever.
Yeah, I think it's just that connection to context, neighbourhood, being inspired by what's around you and not having to look so far away, because, you know, our environments are full of inspiration. And so if we can indicate or show people how to extract ideas, I think, you know, that could be a really great lesson, really, for people just to look a little bit closer at their neighbourhoods.
So we launched today, and the first 3 episodes go to air today on Binge. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Yes. And then maybe we'll see a second season. Maybe. Woo!
Who knows?
Hey, look, that sounds wonderful. Thanks for that.